You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Really happy to have you here today on this Mindset and Motivation Monday. This is one of my absolute favorite ways to start the week, is sharing with you a little bit about maybe what I'm going through, or a little bit about what I spoke with a private wellness client or body transformation client over the past week or so. These are things from real life that I try to just give you maybe a little bit of nugget here, a little bit of a nugget there to get you motivated to make this your best week yet. And all that means by that, all I mean is this, is that this week, you're fully committed to becoming better. And what does that mean? Well, if your goal is weight loss, that you're moving forward, you don't need to lose 5 pounds this week. What you need to do is move forward with the actions that will help you lose weight. If your goal is wellness, well, what's the deal here? Well, we need to start to change our nutrition, add a little bit of exercise, add some nutritional supplements, do some dry brushing, maybe use the rebounder, an infrared sauna, any one of these things. Now that's overwhelming, right? But doing one of those things is not. So what I want you to do is use this motivation, get you into the right mindset to take action on one thing. But sometimes, like we're talking about today as well, it's about the overall picture in life. So one of the things, I had a really nice chat with one of my private wellness clients. I've been working with her for many, many years. Fantastic person, extremely generous to others, absolutely kind, great mom to her children, great wife to her husband. But like all of us, especially what I would say is a lot of people who are high achievers in life, they want a lot out of life. And so sometimes when we want a lot out of life, when we're questioners, when we question, what's the deeper meaning to things? Like, where do I fit in? All of those things. Sometimes we struggle a little bit. We really do, because we pose questions that others may not even think about. And those other people don't struggle the same way we do because, again, our minds just think a little bit differently. Doesn't mean it's better. Doesn't mean it's worse. It just is. And sometimes it just is. But what happens is we have this question about I don't excel at anything. I'm not really great at anything. I don't stand out. And my conversation with her was really this, is that after you've gone through grade school and you've done those like field day contests where you get a ribbon, or you've done sports and you win a trophy for finishing, first, second, third place in a swim meet or whatever it is, and you're past college, you're out of grad school, and you're ranked first in the class, magna cum laude, or any of these things, there's no real more competitions in life, but we kind of gauge the rest of our life on that. And that's why a lot of people, they're looking at their children or their work or anything, things as kind of like competition. We were built essentially as humans, as competitors a lot of the time. But that gets you in a lot of problem, because then people are like, well, I'm not great at anything. Well, what do you mean you're not great at anything? Like, what does that mean? Like, you're not great at life? Like, what are you trying to be great at? Because you have to give me an example. In order for you to say that you're not great at something, that means you have to say that you're not good at something. So what is it that you're struggling at? Because if you're struggling at something, I can say this, well, you're struggling at it simply because you haven't been given the proper plan. I struggled for a decade with my health. Why? Well, I was given little bits of a plan along the way. First, it was conventional medicine and some pharmaceuticals. Sure, it helped with some symptoms, but it never helped once I got off those pharmaceuticals, right back to where I was. And then I saw some functional medicine doctors and I got a little bit more. Oh, adrenals, food sensitivity. These are real things. And I got a little bit better, never the full plan. And then I started to get more and more. And then the whole picture opened up. The whole picture. I met my mentor. She taught me about the whole Eastern world that no one really knows about in this country. So I learned about 6,000 years of Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, all sorts of different in-betweens there. Then I learned about state-of-the-art lab testing. Forget about just blood work. What about urine testing, hair testing, saliva testing? A lot of people say, oh, well, there's no merit to that. Of course there's merit to that. Of course there is. Health insurance just doesn't accept it. That's why they say there's no merit to it. Why? Because it doesn't diagnose disease. It's not supposed to diagnose disease. It's supposed to diagnose underlying root cause imbalances that then lead to what we call disease. And what's a disease? It's simply a set of symptoms that we give a name that we can then medicate and write off on insurance. It's all a game. That's all it is. I don't play games. We don't do insurance. We don't do any of these things. We play by one rule: get people well. Make them happy, get them back on track in life. So one of those things I have to say is, a lot of people say, like, I don't know what my gift is. And if I knew what my gift was, I would be happier. I would feel like I had more purpose. I would feel like I was great. I was great at something. Well, I have to tell you this, is that everybody basically knows what their gift is when they're young. When you're young, you know what it is. The problem is, through schooling, which I'm not an advocate of in this country. I'm really not in the United States. Yes, I went through school, higher education, all of those things, and I'm very grateful for that. You know why? Because my parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college, and they wanted the best for me. And so they struggled. They made it work so that I was able to go to college. I was the first person in my family, since I'm the oldest sibling, to go to college. And so for that, forever grateful to my parents for paving that way, for pushing me in that direction. But keep in mind, school takes all the creativity for the most part out of you. It makes you a follower of rules. So again, I was all set to follow those rules. I was going to go to conventional medicine school. That was it. Like, I would go to become a doctor. But the problem was, it made no sense to me, and I couldn't go, in all honesty, because conventional medicine doctors couldn't get me well. I saw the best of the best. Harvard University, arguably the best medical school in the world, or one of. I went to Harvard Medical School trained doctors. Brilliant men and women. No doubt about it. Brilliant. But only from an acute medicine standpoint. No one could help me figure out what was going on with my body. Why? They simply weren't given the right tools. It's not their fault. I don't blame them as doctors. I blame the system. That's it, right? I don't blame anybody, because I don't play the blame game. But I did many years ago. And of course, I was an angry young man, and I had to work on that as well. A lot of work on this body right here and mind. But what I'm trying to say is, all schooling, it makes us think in a certain way. And when we think in that certain way, it's always, I'm better than or I'm worse than. So we always have the judgment mentality. And unfortunately, religion a lot of the time does this as well. And again, I'm not talking down about your religion, because I'm not naming your religion. So I'm not naming any. Religion can be a great thing and gives hope to a lot of people. And for that, I think it's fantastic. But what I'm saying is, when people teach you to think in a certain way, it takes away from a little bit of your individuality. It takes away from you understanding what your gifts are, because maybe you weren't good at algebra. You weren't good at geometry. You weren't good at mastering grammar or spelling. It doesn't mean you can't be a great writer. It means you might need spell check, right? But someone told you that you're not a great writer because your penmanship is unreadable. Right? It's any one of those things. Like, I got made fun of by teachers when I was younger because I would make eights, like the number 8 as 2 circles, one circle on top of another, instead of my penmanship 8. And which is ridiculous, right? Because an 8 is an 8. So that, like, these are all the things that happen to you in school. And again, I've talked about this before in a previous Cabral concept, is that I understood by high school that it was just a game. And I said, oh, okay, because I wrote a paper one day with an alternate ending to the story that I thought was used so much more creativity. And the teacher said to me, this isn't how the book ends. And I said, I understand that, but you wanted us to give an ending to this story. And I figured everyone's just going to write the same ending because we all know how this story ends. I wanted to make up something more interesting. They said, all they said was this: yes, but that's not how it ends. That's not how it goes. And right then and there, I saw everything for the school system is just black and white. That's it. And so I said, okay, that's it. I'm just going to play the game. And I kept the creativity inside of me, but I wonder how many people, they let it die. You know, they really do. It's mainly because I was a stubborn kid. That's it. So I said, okay, I'm going to play the game. I'm going to use school to get my piece of paper, right? That little certificate that I can wave in the air and I say, okay, I graduated. I did this well. I got my A's. I did National Honor Society, magna cum laude, all of those different things. Great. But all I did was because I was playing the game. At no point did I ever believe it would make me a better person at life or even advance me in a career. And the reason is I know and I saw at a young age, all the people who excelled at anything, very little had to do with school. A lot had to do with drive and learning from a mentor. Why? Because what you do in the real world is very different from what you learn in a book. Books help, and you should read books. You should listen to audio books, and you should listen to podcasts, and you should read articles. But really, being able to apply it in the real world is really what matters. So now getting back to people feeling lost in life because they don't know what their gift is. And they say, well, if I knew what my gift is, I'd be able to move and push forward. I want to give you the 3 questions to help you right now discover what that gift is, because I honestly believe it's much easier than you think. Now, of course, it's going to take a little time to figure out. Why would it take time to figure out when it's really an easy thing to just come up with? The reason is this: we've pushed it down so deep inside of us that we've honestly forgotten about it, that we've forgotten what our gift is. And everyone is different. So, for example, I can do math. I can do simple math really easily. I really can. That's not an issue for me. But I'm not a math wizard. I have some private wellness clients who are hedge fund executives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the math that they can do in their head almost seems incomprehensible. It's like they have a supercomputer when it comes to their brain for math. I am nowhere near that level. Nor do I need to be, but it's also probably why I didn't go into that field, right? They probably knew their gift was being a brilliant statistics and mathematician. And so they were geared towards that field. They already knew what their gift was, right? For me, it's a little bit different. And I can tell you this. My gift, or if I can call it the gift, again, it always seems strange, right? Even me saying it, I can say, well, talk about gifts. But really, we all have a little bit different of a gift. I'm going to explain those 3 ways to figure it out in just one moment. But my gift, I believe, was this. It's being able to, and even interested in, right? I'm interested in learning. But I'm not interested in the school aspect. I don't want a teacher telling me to read these 30 pages at night and then come in and take this test, because that's regurgitation. That's not actually learning. That's not applying. So I believe my gift is assimilating large amounts of information, like ridiculous amounts of information that would seem absurd. If you saw my library in my office, you'd say, okay, this is ridiculous. There's no way you read all those books. Most people don't believe that, which is totally fine. Again, I don't read books for anyone else, and you shouldn't do what you do for anyone else either. But that's what I do. And I do it because I enjoy it, which I'm going to get to in a moment. But the second part to that is I can take all this information for whatever reason. Remember, I don't have a gift at everything. I can't listen to an audiobook and retain the information. Someone can't have a conversation with me and get that information. I can retain information by seeing it on a page. My mind then takes a basically snapshot of that page. And keep in mind, I talked about this before, how to increase your speed reading. That's on a previous Friday review. And then it doesn't go anywhere. My brain just saves that, and I can go back and I can see that information as if I was reading the book later. That then allows me to take all this information and I bridge gaps between certain subjects, right? So it could be, I guess, whatever, but my interest is health, is wellness, is fitness, and it's mindset, it's psychology, it's the human body. I'm very intrigued by it, and I'm very intrigued by we, the human species, about what makes us tick, why some people excel, why some people don't, why some people get well, why some people don't. What are the correlations? I'm very interested in that, and that drives me forward. So it allows me to take all this information, and I see things then very quickly, only because I've read all of this information a lot. So enough about me. Let's talk about you. So, but again, that is a gift, I believe. I've worked on it. So I've gotten better at it, right? Because it was something that I was always able to do, but I made myself get better at it, which I want you to do as well in just a moment. I'll share that with you. But also, there's a lot that I can't do. So when I say I can do something, there's a lot that I can't do that you could probably do far better. Again, math being one of those things. And I have no patience for a lot of tedious items like honestly, anything to do with even like taxes, accounting, any of those types of things, I don't do it. I don't look at analytics. People are like, oh, how many people are you getting to your website? I've never once looked at that. Never once. Unless someone says like, hey, this is how things are doing. I don't look at that. I don't even have the patience for it to look at those things at all. Again, I've joked about this in the past. Could very well be the worst singer in the entire world. You wouldn't want me on your karaoke team. We'll just put it that way. So again, we all have these different gifts. Now let's explore yours. So the first question I ask you is this. This is a little simpler way to get at what would your gift be? What can you bring out? Because remember, when you know what your gift is, it's a great way to enrich your life, to feel like your life has more purpose, and to do more of that thing that you enjoy. We'll talk about that now. Okay. So the first thing is this. What do people come to you for advice or for help? Okay. So there are people who are brilliant mechanics and they know everything about a car. Again, not one of my gifts. Okay. Some people are great at that. Some people are amazing. So like, just for example, my wife knows so much about organic skincare, organic food, healthy living in terms of like family, raising a family. Amazing at that. Certainly a gift, certainly a passion of hers. She comes up with all these different facial-based concoctions, amazing. Like does the research, knows the SPF of every single thing, natural, like raspberry leaf and carrot seed and all these things. And she's teaching me a lot about a lot of these things, which is amazing. I'm like, I thought I knew about these things, but she spends her time, she researches, she studies, she'll ask me questions every once in a while. We'll go back and forth. But again, like, great at that, but what would the gift be behind that? Well, it would be an interest in these particular things. Let's go a little bit deeper. Okay. Other gifts, maybe someone comes to you for advice on relationships or advice on career. You might have the ability to see things in a little different way than other people see. So what I want to start to get at is this, is you might be equating your gift to playing a sport or to like national spelling bee champ, right? But I want to tell you, those are activities. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a gift. And that's where we've become confused. Oh, this person's natural gift is playing baseball. Sure, their natural gift is being athletic, an athlete, and choosing baseball as their sport of discipline. But their natural gift is being an athlete in this way, or seeing the sport of baseball in a little bit different way. They can see a baseball coming at them at 98 miles an hour, and they're actually be able to catch up with that ball with the speed and reflexes to do that. But that person may not be able to fix a car, may not be able to sing, may not be able to dance, may not be able to speak with people, may not be able to speak in public. Those are all individual gifts. Here's the second question I want you to ask. What do you do that where when you're doing it, the time just seems to fly by? Meaning like you look up, it's hours later. It's hours later. And you ask yourself, where did the time go? You honestly don't know. And that's because you were doing something that you were passionate about, something that you were fully engaged in. When you are fully engaged in something, yes, it's most likely a passion of yours. And usually it has something to do with one of your gifts and passions. Passions, gifts, a lot of time they go hand in hand. They honestly do. So think about that. What do you do where hours go by, all of a sudden you look up? For me, I know, again, like this sounds like really nerdy, but I'll read a book, hours go by. And then I pop my head up and I'm like, whoa, it's an hour and a half later. And so I want you to think about the same thing. What do you do where the time just flies by? Really, honestly. And again, yes, you could say like, well, if time flies by when I go for a walk. Okay, well, maybe it's contemplation that you're great at. Like what is it? It's not walking, right? Walking's not probably your gift. So you can't say that, but it could be thinking about, what are you thinking about on that walk? So all I'm trying to do is get you right now to open up your mind to a place that allows you to find your gift, find your passion, find your purpose so that you can live a fully fulfilled life. Now let's get to this last one, the third one. What do you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? So even if you don't love doing it, like just think about this, because you were forced to do it for a career or whatever it might be. What do you do that you're great at, that you're really good at, that you're the best at? You might not love it, but you're the best at it, or you're really good at it, top 10%, better than the majority of people with very little effort, right? Like, what do you do? So that's why I kind of like, that's how I use these questions. Again, these are my questions assimilated from what? Reading 500 self-help, self-improvement books. Like, I get this knowledge from other people who have been here before me. My gift is reading that in the first place and then assimilating it into one cohesive fashion, or sometimes not so cohesive, but as cohesive as I can make it. So what do I do with very little effort that I would say top 1%? And that's, I can read a book in about 90 minutes. That's a full 300-page book. Okay. So I can read all of that. But then also after I read that book, or the next week or the next month or the next year, you could actually open up that book and you could ask me about it, and I would have comprehended it as well. So again, not a lot of gifts, but that's a gift. That is a gift that I have. What do you do that you're great at that doesn't take you a lot of effort? Like that's a true gift. I want you to think about that one. That might be a little bit more difficult for you right now. Maybe it is researching. Maybe it's very similar to what I'm doing right now. You just know how to get to the crux of the issue really, really quick. Or maybe it's about helping other moms get through whatever it might be. Maybe it's as a nutritionist, as a personal trainer, as an exercise physiologist, as like what comes to you really easily that people then come to you for advice for. That's a really good one as well. What comes to you easy that people are like, I can't believe this person's paying me for my advice, or I can't believe this person's coming to me for advice. Like, this is just something that I enjoy doing or that I like doing. Think about those questions. I want to keep it at that for today. Really appreciate you tuning into the Cabral Concept and our Mindset and Motivation Mondays. I want you to let me know, I really do, if you have any additional follow-up questions. I don't want to just help you get well. I don't want to just help you lose weight. I don't want to just help you live a long, strong life, but I also want you to enjoy it as well. I want to be able to help you from both a mind and body perspective, not just body. I want you to be happy. I want you to be fulfilled. I want you to feel like you have purpose in this life. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral Concept. Really do appreciate each and every one of your listens, and feel free to share this with anyone you believe it could help.
Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.